Now, did you know that Vox Electronics has come up with a brand new solution to getting into the custom interior business? Not only that, they offer incredible support, and the selection and application is nothing short of impressive. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into Leathercraft, the new interior custom upholstery option from Vox. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Leathercraft. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and you are locked into CMA Networks, where we talk mobile electronics day in and day out. And although what today's subject is not necessarily electronic, it certainly affects all you mobile electronics dealers out there. Because this today is something that represents a brand new opportunity of business that is being brought to you by Vox Electronics. Our guest today is Joe Caltabiano, who is a vice president of their interior products. And we're really happy to have him on because I'll tell you what, I've got some questions and he has the answer. So, Joe, welcome to the show. Can you give us a breakout of what we're going to be talking about today?
Hey, Ben, thanks for having me on. Yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of us have been in the 12-volt business for a very, very long time. And everybody's looking for avenues to expand their business, whether it's, you know, paint protection film, tinting, bolt-ons, whatever it is. Well, since we've been in the business servicing retail, distributors, and primarily car dealers for decades upon decades, a lot of these customers are already doing interior upholstery work, primarily at the car dealer level. So when an opportunity arose, it made sense for us to get into this business. Not only can we support them on the one side with our 12-volt electronics, but now we can expand their business by adding interior upholstery to the mix. So we become a one-stop shop, more valuable to our customers, and enhance the value proposition for customers that exist that are just doing 12-volt today that want to get into the leather business. So hopefully we can walk through, show you everybody why this is a winner.
All right, Joe, great to have you on. But first, an opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you why it's always a great attachment sale. And when we come back, let's uncover this new opportunity for all you dealers out there called Leathercraft. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door, and then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
And welcome back, everybody, to the show. Again, my guest today is Joe Caltabiano from Vox and Leathercraft. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing, Ben? Good. Great to be back.
I'll tell you what, I remember when you first came to market with this, and I was there when I was like, wait a minute, Vox is doing leather interior? And then you took the time to explain it to me. And since then, obviously, the catalog, the offering has grown, the tools that are being offered has grown. We're going to get into all this stuff. But the first burning question that I really want to get into is, you're right, you said it in your the intro there. Mobile electronics dealers are looking for ways to diversify their business, their income avenues. Yes, there's the traditional car audio, of course, and then there's the lighting and the remote start and security that's always been there. But more and more, we are finding that the success for dealers is to be able to be the all-in-one one-stop shop. This, however, is a category that I feel has kind of been a mystery to many people, myself included, because it just feels like getting into leather interiors or custom interiors, for that fact, is such a daunting, niche, specialized kind of thing. So why don't you explain to me how I'm wrong?
Well, look, it's like anything that's new. Right? If you go into a toolbox or an average installer today, you're not going to find the tools that you necessarily need to install leather. And there's a misconception. People think just, pulling out a seat out of a vehicle and peeling off the skin, it's going to be easy to install. It's not. It takes a special kind of breed. And just like anything, I remember decades ago being in a parking lot of a Ford dealer on Long Island installing the first mobile video system. It took me 5 hours to do. And everyone that since then, faster and faster and faster until it was done under an hour, right? Well, with leather seating, you could spend 2 days on a kit, being a greenie right out of the box. But once you learn the techniques and the tricks and get familiar with the tools, hog ringers that are going to suck and staple everything back into the foam, steaming it out or leaving it out in the heat in order to naturally, spread out. So you're not fighting the kit when you're putting it on. Because look, the last thing you want to do is deliver something that doesn't look aesthetically nice to the consumer.
Especially if it's not better than what they had before. That means that's always
Exactly.
like putting in a speaker that sounds worse than they did. That's not what you want.
So it is leather, and I even had my own misconceptions when we first got into business. When I saw some of the kits just first installed, I was critiquing everything. Like, why does that look like that? And they're like, Joe, you got to be patient with leather. It's like, how you have to leave the windows rolled up when you first put tint on to make sure it stays on the glass,
Yes,
bubble
absolutely.
up. Well, leather's kind of the same thing. After you massage it on the seat, no matter how much you're going to steam it and smooth things out to get wrinkles out, there's still going to be some slight imperfections until someone's sitting in that seat and it's been baking in the sun or in the cold, and it'll eventually just smooth out to where it looks like it came off the production line. But I've learned to be patient in this business, and I learned a lot about the tools that are necessary to do it. Okay. Right? The nice thing is we have all those things that we offer the consumer. Not only are you getting into a category with us, but the one benefit to us over any of our competitors is we want you to be in the business. We want you to succeed. If you haven't been in the business and you want to add revenue growth, we're going to supply you the training. We're going to supply you the tools. That small investment's going to put you in another category and add revenue to the bottom line where you're going to be making thousands of dollars in profit.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because you said a lot, and I want to break this down because I think this conversation, there's different perspectives and different angles that I want to check off here. So let's talk about the business. You mentioned business, and you're talking, obviously, you get into business, you want to make sales, you want to make profit. Obviously, that's the name of the game. But why would, in your words, an existing dealer, guys, there's so many shops that we have, the second generation, being out there for a long time, been doing the same thing. Why would a traditional mobile electronics dealer be excited to get into this business?
It's a simple question that I answer with the same answer every time. Do you like money?
I mean, I do.
Right? Most people do like money.
Yes.
And most people, look, we've all, through the last 5 to 10 years, have seen a lot of shifts and changes, right? It's not like the days of old with electronics, where you can count on those remote start customers to come in, those security customers to come in, those rear seat entertainment customers to come in, even the audio customers. Look at all the dynamics that have changed. They made it more complicated, or they always got faster in adopting those as standard options, right? So you want to expand your aftermarket business. What's the thing that doesn't change, or we have seen very little change? There's always a cloth seating option.
Yes, always.
That means there's always an opportunity to upgrade that seating. That's just at the car dealer space. Mm-hmm. Think about the retail. Retail, you have the person who wants to make their vehicle unique. They're willing to spend the money to better their vehicle.
Let's be clear, just in case you didn't remember, we don't sell anything that anybody actually needs. Let's just get that out of the way. This is all about want, right? This is all about want, and I want my car to look cool. So please continue.
Absolutely. So, in the retail space, that person's coming in. It's as simple as quantifying a customer, right? They came in for whatever. Oh, I noticed you have cloth seats. Well, maybe you have one of my mini seats on your display that starts a talking point, right? If they see it, touch it, and feel it, it starts a conversation. It's like anything that you want to sell. You have that product on display. You're never going to sell it because no one's going to talk about it. So once they can see something, now it starts a conversation. And they could have came in for a couple of grand in the car stereo system, and now you upfitted their vehicle with leather. You got their vehicle a little bit longer. You just added a couple of grand to your bottom line. So why wouldn't you want to do it?
All right, Joe, I think you did a really good job answering the question of, why would somebody or why would a dealer want to get into this upholstery business? Let's take a deeper dive into what this business actually looks like as far as what the business model actually is. What can you tell us? Marketing, applications, whatever it takes. Help me understand what the business model is.
Sure. Well, with any category of product, right? You have to show something. People want to touch, see, and feel something. So we have marketing assets, whether they're mini seats or swatch rings or different types of tools, just to be able to present it at the store level, or for someone that's servicing the car dealers to bring along with them to grow that business there, right? But let's talk about the dollars and cents of it. This isn't something like traditional 12-volt products where you're selling the parts separate than the labor, right? You're already up to like $1,000 in parts, and then you're tacking on 100 plus an hour for labor. This you're selling as one set price. It's going to take even a seasoned installer at least 4 to 6 hours, or 6 to 8 hours in some instances, to install seating. So it's an all-day job. But what are you getting out of that? Okay, you're buying a kit. Let's just say it's one of our high volume kits, right? Since they're high volume, they're a slightly lower cost than what you're buying a custom kit for when you add in all the little attributes to it. But you're looking at profits anywhere from $1,800 and up, and still being a lot less expensive than if that customer opted for leather at the car dealer level. So, you might be tying up a guy a day, but what you're getting in return and how many other jobs you might have to do to get that same amount of dollars, it makes sense.
All right, my next question to you, Joe, is for somebody outside looking in. Okay, you've got my attention. I get the business model. I understand. Maybe I should look closer at this. What am I up against? What is the current competitive landscape in this category? What do I need to know?
Well, look, it's like you have an Alpine, you have a Pioneer, you have a Sony, you have a JVC, you have a Kenwood, right? It's kind of the same in the upholstery business, but there's less players. Okay, so although we all do it well, we have our own ways of doing it. Some have been in the business as early as the mid 80s. Some have been in the business over the last 5 to 10 years. We're in this particular category, the newbies to the block, right? But what's our pedigree? We know the landscape of who our customers are. We've been in the space of where leather primarily gets sold, right? And even though that it's a category that could be sold in both retail and car dealer realms, the majority of it is getting done at the car dealer level. We've lived that space since 1965. We know what it's like to exist in that space, to penetrate that space, and to provide the quality that's needed to remain in that space. So, look, it could be a variety of things, whether it's pricing. We're not a company that's looking to just race to zero. We're going to be fairly priced. We might not always be the best price, but I can guarantee you we are the best quality. And we back that up with a 5-year warranty.
All right, Joe, hold on a second. I just want to focus on what you just said right there. Did you just say that all the Leathercraft kits come with a 5-year warranty?
Absolutely. 5-year warranty. So what did we do? We did it like when we had our custom headrest program for Rooster Entertainment. So it's playing in that car dealer realm. A couple things that we want to get under our belt to make sure that we are substantiating what our quality is. Okay, so we submitted seats to a test facility where we did airbag deployment testing. Passed without any issues. Flammability. Our materials didn't even ignite.
Interesting.
Or if they ignited, they were extinguished well within the length of time that needed to be done. These are just some of the, you can call it what you will. Some call it FMVSS. I just call it OEM standards to meet specifications. You got a seat that you're replicating where it had an airbag. You got to make sure that we're meeting safety specs, right? But 5-year warranty is not just because of that. It's because of the quality. We're using top grade materials. I'm not cutting corners, right? I'm not over tumbling my materials to make it soft. This isn't a
Mm,
Natuzzi leather couch at your house that you want
right.
supple. This is something you're going to be getting in and out of, in and out of,
And
in
your
and out.
couch isn't in plus 90 degrees or minus, whatever.
Correct.
Right.
UV, environmental temperature changes, but more importantly, the reality. Sliding in. How many vehicles have you owned where you're sliding in, sliding out, sliding in, sliding out, and that bolster
Yeah.
gets nice and shiny if you
Oh,
have
yeah.
leather, or the
Absolutely.
stitching is wearing down?
Hmm.
Well, we know that's going to happen. Now, our 5-year warranty is for manufacturing defects,
Sure.
not, beating on your seats, wear and
Right.
tear,
Right.
King Corso in the back seat, terrorizing it, whatever it may
Sure.
be. But it is designed with our high standards. That's why we back it with that 5-year warranty.
Okay, check this out. That's a great point. So fantastic. I think that's a very positive point to this whole program. Now, I wish we had more time, but we want to make sure our audience understood the opportunity that exists here with Leathercraft. We could have sat here and showed you all these different cool installs and stuff like that, but I think it was really important that we break down, exactly the engineering behind this opportunity. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, which I feel might be the biggest game changer here, and you let me know if I'm wrong. But you said at the top of the show, you have the product, you have the selection, you have the quality, you have the applications, you even have the warranty to back it up. But what I want to circle back to is the fact that you're offering the opportunity to train dealers who are interested in getting into this business. Okay, tell me about that and what that's all about.
To me, that's the most important thing. I've been an installer since the late 80s. And I know that, things change over the years. What's hot, one decade starts falling off, matured out. You want to be diversified. You want to get to new things. At least people who like to earn money do. The ones that don't and just think that business is just going to exist the way it is organically, well, unfortunately, that's a ship that sails on its own with a bad ending. But anyway, this is something that we, Vox, the parent company of Leathercraft, want to see you succeed. Means we've invested into stocking our warehouse with tools. We've put together a training package that's moderately priced to enter into this business where after you complete your first 3 installations, you basically paid yourself back for those costs to get into the business, which is amazing, right? And we network with our existing customers to be able to offer that training to new candidates that want to get into the business. How many other aftermarket companies do you know that offer tools and training to get into a category? I'm not aware of any. It's not to say that they don't offer training on their products, but training to install something, you know, uh, that's unique to us. And we're just happy that we can offer that benefit with our Leathercraft program to grow revenue with our customer base.
I want to take this opportunity and thank my guest today, Joe Caltabiano from Vox and Leathercraft. If you want to find out more info, I mean, I know that was a lot of details, but please go to the website, leathercraft.pro. There you can kind of fool around with the builder, look at the different options, but more importantly, get a hold of your Vox rep. If this is something that interests you, they provide the tools, they have a package. This is a whole new opportunity. Get a hold of a Vox rep and find out for yourself if this is something that's right for you. And from the sounds of it, they've pretty much thought of, well, everything that you would need as a dealer. I especially want to highlight the fact that they're offering training program to get into an entire new category. What else can you ask for? More importantly, something that we didn't discuss. What a fantastic opportunity for those of you who are already in the expediter business, who are already touching base and consistently communicating with car dealerships. Imagine adding that to the menu. Imagine what the possibilities are. At the end of the day, Leathercraft for me is not only a very well tuned machine as far as the delivery of the product, but it represents something much more, and that is opportunity. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.